depending on how we are going to turn your research paper into a research topic. Let's discuss on what topics that we are need to prevent in research, okay? So, for us to prevent worst scenarios in research, it would be best to avoid these following topics, okay? So, avoid these following topics. The first one is the controversial topics. So, these topics are depend greatly on the writer's opinion. It tend to be biased or prejudicial. Facts cannot support topics like this. So controversial topics are topics that which are subject for debates. Okay? Debates, disagreement, or disapproval. Meaning, our respondents may iba't-iba silang opinion about that. And also, it will affect our study as a researcher kasi there are instances that their opinion is different from your opinion. And as a researcher, syempre, mas mag-defend ka doon sa iyong opinion. Okay? So that is a controversial topic. So what are the examples of these controversial topics? Yes, JC?
About po sa same-sex marriage.
Okay, so this same-sex marriage is also included in the controversial topics kasi nga they are subject for debates, okay? So other than same-sex marriage, we have the abortion. So other countries, they are in favor of such. Kasi kung hindi mo daw kayang panindigan, okay, hindi abort ang bata. But then, as a Christian country, we are not, we're not into practice abortion kasi we valued every life, okay? The global climate change, the gun control, the immigration, the human trafficking, the hashtag Black Lives Matter, the drugs, the artificial intelligence, violence, the freedom of religion, animal rights, and of course the vaccines. Although majority of us are already vaccinated, but still, if we're going to ask about vaccines, of course, people have different opinions about such, okay? What are the effects of vaccine? Gaano ba katagal na naging epektibo ang isang vaccine? Okay? So, again, this is subject for debates. The civil and political rights, the health insurance, and of course, ang napaka-invitation ng election context. So again, these are some of the example of controversial topics that are subject for debates na hindi dapat include sa content of your research. Okay? So, again, these are controversial topics that we dapat include sa ating quantitative research. So, another topics would be the highly technical subjects. Why? Kasi as a beginner, researching on topics that require an advanced study, technical knowledge, and vast experience is a very difficult one. Okay? So, just like what I have told you before, as a researcher, you have to predict results. But predicting results doesn't mean that you are going to have an advanced study, okay? So, advanced study, technical knowledge, and vast experience, I think this such are very hard for us beginner researcher to be included in our research, especially that we are dealing in quantitative vast experience somehow. This is not included. So, hard to investigate subjects. So, topic or subject that is hard to investigate if there is no available data, okay? Again, sabi ko nga, the availability of information depends on the timeliness and the relevance of your topics, okay? So, if your topic is, example, the pandemic, then there is a lot of information that you can have in your research. But if it is all about the World War II, the Cold War, the 9/11 attack, then those topics are already happened a long time ago, then it would be hard to access such information. And of course, nasa clear na pumanap ng mga tao na maaaring makatulong sa iyo to have an in-depth analysis of such. So, materials are not up to date or obsolete. Ibig sabihin, yun nga, mahirap kumanap ng mga informations kasi nga, these are happenings or phenomenon that happen long time ago. So they are considered hard to investigate subjects. And of course, the two broad subjects, okay? So this subject or topic that are too broad will prevent the researcher from giving a concentrated or in-depth analysis of the subject matter of the research paper, okay? So the two broad subject. Example, you are going to consider the social issues. Okay? Social issues is napakalawak, napakarami. Okay? So social issues, we have traffic, we have pollution, we have teenage pregnancies, we have the drug issues. Okay? There is a lot of social issues. Kasi nga, napakarami ng social issues, you are going to choose one. Okay? And you choose pollution. Okay? But then, inside pollution, meron pa tayong air pollution, water pollution, land pollution. Again, napakalawak. Then you are going to trim it down again. Okay? So, from social issues, napunta ka sa pollution, pipili ka ulit ng isa pang pollution. And then you choose water pollution. And inside that water pollution, again, napakarami causes ng water pollution. And now, that is the example of two broad subjects. Okay? Sabi ko nga, be very specific. Okay? You don't have to tackle everything or every issues na alam mo. Okay? You have to focus only in the specific issues na sabi ko nga, you are curious about. Okay? But not because you are curious, you are going to study everything. Okay? Just focus on specific issues. Please be very specific. Just like your research topics. Wala pa ata ako naibalik sa STEM D, pero may mga naibasa na ako na ilan. So, I have my comments there. Sino po ang inyong target respondents? Kasi your target respondents will be also included in your research topic, in your research title. Just like we're going to implement your research in TIES or in anything that is very specific, okay? It could be only for STEM B, or for STEM A, or for the senior high school of TIES, or for the junior high school of TIES, or for the teachers and faculties of TIES, okay? So please be very specific, okay? So such are the topics that we must avoid as we explore or embrace quantitative research. Again, the controversial topics, the hard to investigate topics, the highly
Trish, birthday ni Ma'am Rona?
and of course the two broad subjects. Okay? So that is, please avoid such topics. So that is the end of our lesson 3 kasi this is just a continuation lang naman po ng mga na-discuss natin from the past lessons. Okay? So that is the end of our lesson 3. Now, let's have our next topic. Okay? So, bear with me. Meron pa karami po natin i-discuss today kasi we're about to finish it until lesson 5. So that we could be more focused on your writing of the research paper itself. So this lesson is the value of research. Okay? So in this part naman, we can have what is the essence of your research. Are you going to write your research as a requirement lang or as an experience to be used in college degree, in not just in college degree, you can also use it as you work on any field that you want it to be, okay? So the value of research, let's have the first one. So one of the main purpose of research is to inform action. So how? How are we going to inform action through our research? Of course, let me share you my experience during my senior high school days. So, ako po ay UMS student and our research, ano ba topic ko doon? The teacher's teaching skills and its effect to the academic performance of the senior high school students in Rizal College of Taal. Okay? So that is my title. Okay, title na po ayun. So, how can I inform action? ang independent and dependent variable doon. So the teacher's teaching skills is the independent variable. And the dependent variable would be the academic performance of the senior high school students. Okay? So, kinuha muna namin ang different teaching skills ng mga teacher. Just like pure discussion or discussion with movie clips, video clips, just like this one. So, napakarami na nakuha namin teaching skills or strategies ng mga teacher. And also, how are we going to measure the academic performance of the students? Okay? Again, the aming dependent variable is the academic performance. So, to get the academic performance of the students, kinuha po namin ang major subjects ng bawat strand. Okay? So, instead,
Opo, ingat.
chose calculus,
Bye.
ABM,
Ay, dago.
entrepreneurship, and at UMS, we chose politics. So that is the major subjects of every strand. And after namin kuhain ang grade nila doon sa major subjects nila,
Ay, wag kayong
we
maingay.
feel that the teaching skills of the teacher is suited or not suited with the students. Kasi according to the grades, okay, mataas ang grades. Ibig sabihin, pasok or accepted yung teaching skills ng isang teacher para ituro ang subject na ito. Okay? And of course, nalaman din namin na these teaching skills is hindi ganun applicable sa mga bata. Hindi pala applicable na pasayawin ang mga STEM students sa calculus. Okay? Hindi pala applicable na pagpindahin ang yung students sa subject ng conflicts. Okay? Again, this is the way how we inform action. Of course, as a teacher, na okay, I will continue this thing kasi this is applicable for STEM students. And I will revise this one kasi somehow medyo nahihirapan ng yung students sa mga ganitong bagay. Okay? So that is how your research will inform an action. Okay? And as a researcher, it is a challenge for you to make your paper, again, being stand out among the other. And of course, how your paper will inform an action. Okay? So your study should seek to contextualize its findings within the larger body of the research. Again, the idea or the findings and the results of the study will not only seen at the last chapter or the first chapter of your paper, it would be seen on the whole paper or on the larger body of your paper. Okay? So let's continue. Research must always be in high quality in order to produce knowledge that is applicable outside of the research setting. So if you can apply the result of your paper outside the research setting or outside the ties, outside the place that you conducted the research, then it would be better. Okay? Furthermore, the results of your study may be implications for policy and future project implementation. So in our research during senior high school, paano po ito naka-apekto sa future project implementation? So the teachers or the admins of the school, nalaman nila na okay, applicable pala ang pag-discuss with video presentation. Then, what would happen? Then, the action will be maglagay ng mga, example is television or any technological devices na makakatulong sa mga teacher para makapag-discuss with movie clips, with video clips. Okay? So, the future project implementation would be, yun nga, paglalagay ng mga something sa mga classrooms para mas makatulong kay teacher to deliver the lesson. Okay? So, that is also part of actions in research. Okay? So, what is the value of quantitative research? So, the purpose of quantitative research is to attain greater knowledge and understanding of the social world. So, researchers use quantitative methods to observe situations or events that affect people. Okay? So, again, although we are maximizing quantitative methods, statistics and numbers, still, ang pinag-aaralan po natin ay ang social world. Okay? Beyond our world, are the things that we need to consider. Although, yun nga, we are more onto numbers and statistics. So, quantitative research produces objective data. Okay? Objective data are the database informations with, yun nga sabi ko nga, reliable, facts, and of course, value. So, it can be clearly communicated through statistics and the numbers. We do this in a systematic and scientific way, so the studies can be replicated by someone else. Okay? Again, sabi ko nga, studies can be replicated or your titles could be done by someone else before. Okay? But it doesn't mean na gagayahin mo lang talaga lahat. Example, JC conducted a study 5 years ago and he uses 150 respondents. And now that Jiril is going to replicate the study of JC, then maybe Jiril can consider 200 to 250 respondents para naman mas systematic and mas scientific yung magiging result ng study niya kasi sa mas malaking population niya na gamit or na-implement yung findings and results. Okay? So, let's continue. What are the basic methodology for a quantitative research study? So, quantitative research is structured around the scientific method. So, after observing the situation to be investigated, the researcher forms a hypothesis and then uses deductive reasoning. So, when we say deductive reasoning, that is what we do on the social issues. Okay? From a very broad umbrella term, social issues. We choose one, which is the pollution. After choosing pollution, we chose one, which is the water pollution. After choosing water pollution, we're still going to trim them down until feeling natin is napakalawak pa din. Okay? So again, specificity is very important in research. Okay? So predicting how the data should look if the hypothesis is true. After collecting the data and analyzing it to confirm or reject the hypothesis. So at the start of your research, you already have your hypothesis. Is there a significant relationship? Or there is no significant relationship? Okay? But parehas na hypothesis, the HI and the HO, okay? Parehas na hypothesis ay tama sa start ng inyong research. Tama na there is significant relationship and tama din na there is no significant relationship. But, at the end of your research writing, at the end, kapag nakapag-analyze ka na, kapag na-confirm mo na lahat, you are going to confirm or reject the hypothesis. Which among these two is correct? Tama ba? Alin bang i-confirm natin? Alin bang i-reject natin? Okay? So, we are going to accept HI and reject HO, or are we going to reject HI and accept HO? Okay? So, that is how we are going to confirm or reject the hypothesis of research. We also have the quantitative research methods. So, first one is the descriptive research. Okay? So, this descriptive research, again, this is more on QALY. So, this method is focused on what question? It is used to describe the current status or circumstance of the factor being studied. Researchers using this method do not generally begin with a hypothesis. Of course, kasi in descriptive, kailangan mo muna mag-conduct ng survey or interviews before getting a hypothesis. Kasi you are going to study about the opinion of the other people. The reason why their answer would be your hypothesis. Rather, they develop one after collecting the data. Okay? So after the interview, after the survey, that would be the time that the researcher will have his or her own hypothesis about the topic. So variables are not manipulated. Okay, variables are not manipulated in this type of research, and researchers do not use the law of probability. Kasi nga, descriptive is more on opinion, debates, expressions, and delusions. The reason why, the law of probability is not seen or not used in this kind of research. Survey research with large data set falls into this design category. So this is an example of descriptive research. We have the marketing survey of 5,000 consumers using a new detergent brand and compiling a description of the consumer experience and brand acceptance. So that is descriptive. You're going to describe the consumer experience. So as a consumer, what would be your experience using the new detergent? Kung sasagot si consumer, mabango po sa damit, malambot po sa kamay, kahit po konti lang yung ilagay, mabango po yung damit. So that is the consumer experience, okay? What about the brand acceptance? Is it positive or negative? So negative po kasi kailangan dadamihan mo yung lagay para bumango yung damit. Positive po kasi ganito po, ganyan, ganyan. Okay? So that is a descriptive research, okay? You are going to describe everything that your respondent give or respond to your question. The next one would be the correlational research, okay? This is something connection with quantitative research. This method is used to study relationships between factors, okay, which are measured and recorded as research variables, okay? The research variables, the independent and the dependent variables. This kind of research is used to detect trends and patterns in data. In correlational, variables are not manipulated. Again, what would be the result of your research? Yun na yun, okay? You are not allowed to manipulate any of the data. So the results are not sufficient to establish the cause of patterns and trends discovered. We can have correlational associated or correlational predictive design. So that is an example. Studying the relationship between ACT scores and freshman GPA. Again, you are going to study the relationship between the ACT score and the freshman GPA. What would be the effect of the scores to the freshman GPA? Okay, that is correlational. Again, results cannot be manipulated. On the other hand, experimental class research, or the third one is the experimental class research. It studies whether there is a cause and effect relationship between the research variables. Okay, the researcher controls or manipulates an independent variable to measure its effect to one or more dependent variable. Kasi nga it is experimental, it is more on science and experiments. So sabi dyan, the researcher can control or manipulate. Okay? As a researcher, you can have your own independent variable. Example, diba, if we are going to put a Mentos on a Coke, it will explode. Okay? The independent variable will be the Mentos, and the dependent variable will be the explosion of the Coke. But as a researcher, under the experimental class research, I am experimenting. The reason why I cut the Mentos into half. Okay? Only half of the Mentos. Okay? Half lamang ng Mentos ang ilalagay ko sa Coke. Okay? But the result is the same. The Coke explodes because of the Mentos. But the only thing that you observe is it explodes very short. Minimal explosion. Okay? Kasi nga, the amount of Mentos has something to do with the explosion of the Coke. So that is an experiment under the experimental class research. As a researcher, minanipulate ko yung cause. What is the cause? The Mentos. Okay? Ginawasan ko yung amount ng Mentos. So, the independent variable affect the dependent variable. Umepekto pa din, pero very minimal effect. Okay? So that is an experiment. So this kind of research is commonly used in science such as sociology, psychology, chemistry, and physics. Okay? Experimental class research includes variety of designs such as pre-experimental, quasi-experimental, and true experimental. So So these are under experimental class research, and we are not going to define them because they are not the focus of our study. So
No,
typically
what
it
I
includes
mean
parameters
is
such as the random and
sana
non-random.
magkatulad sila nung yung parang
So what is
yung
the example of
like
random and non-random?
like
So this is something collected with your
no, what
respondents.
I
When we
mean
say random,
is
as a researcher, I am allowed to
no, what I mean is
choose who
sana
among
si
will
Ma'am
be my
Maria ay katulad
respondents.
ni Ma'am
Okay?
Bebs
Wala lang.
magturo, yung
Gusto ko
like
maging
talagang
respondents
maiigan
ko
nyo
si
yung
JC, si
mga
Kirel, si
students sa kanya na
Francesca, si
makinig.
Juliana, si Jonalyn. Okay. Kasi I'm the researcher. I'll be the one to decide. Okay? But in non-random, you are going to have a basis. Okay? Why such persons will be my respondents.
What I mean
And in other
si
cases,
Ma'am Maria ay
in
katulad ni
non-random,
Ma'am
there
Bebs
are
magturo,
computations.
yung
Okay?
like
You
talagang
have your own
maiigan nyo yung
computation.
mga
Why are you going
students
to
sa kanya
such?
na makinig.
Okay? So the example would be, I am going to use the STEM B as my respondents, but those people lamang na nasa even ng listahan. Even, okay? So the 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, okay? So they are my respondents. Kasi nga, sila yung lumabas sa aking non-random assignment. Okay? So that is random and non-random. That is something connection with your research respondents. And of course, the manipulation of variables and the use of controlled group. Okay? Again, manipulation of variables is somehow accepted in experimental class research. So that is an example. The testing whether or not an intervention can reduce procrastination in college students. That is an example of experimental research. And the next one would be the comparative research. From the title itself, it focuses on comparisons. The researchers study groups that are pre-existing rather than created for the study. So when we say pre-existing groups, these are groups na nandyan na bago ka pa mag-conduct ng research. The example would be, what would be the shopping behavior of the millennial adults and the adults born before 1980. Okay? So before you conduct a study, the millennial adults and the adults born in 1980 is already there. Okay? Hindi mo sila ginawa. Nandyan na talaga sila before you conducted a study. The difference is that in comparative, no control group, no random selection, and no active manipulation of the variable. Okay? So comparative research can also include ex post facto. So ex post facto will be discussed for sa mga susunod po nating discussions. There are archival data is used. So that is a comparative research. So the example would be measuring the effect of preschool attendance on school maturity at the end of the first grade. Okay? So again, comparative. You are going to compare the behavior of the preschool students on their first day of school and at the end of the school year. Okay? Kung umiiyak pa na bata ng first day, at the last day of school, kung umiiyak pa rin siya, yung mga nagtatantrums pa at the middle of the discussion, nagtatantrums pa din ba? Diba? We are into developing their confidence and their socialization. So maybe there would be things that we need to compare from the beginning and at the end of the school year. And those are the different quantitative research methods. Okay? The descriptive research, the correlational research, the experimental class research, and the comparative research. Now we have the applied research and the basic research. Okay? So these are the two categories of research. So the applied research and the basic research. But first, let us discuss the basic. So what is a basic research? So basic research is driven purely by curiosity. So that is what a quantitative research research is. That is driven by your curiosity and a desire to expand our knowledge. So this type of research tends not to be directly applicable to the real world in a direct way, but enhances our understanding of the world around us.
I-record
Again,
ko.
basic research is a research that is drawn by our curiosity, by the unknown, okay? So basic research is an approach that is entirely theoretical and aim at providing or expanding the knowledge base of a particular field of study. It focuses on the knowledge for its own sake and is primarily driven by curiosity and the need to explore the unknown. So just like what I have told you in quantitative research, you have to look for your interests, you have to look for the things that you are curious about. And that is basic research. You are just going to study what is something that you are curious about. You are just going to explore the things that you think is unknown. Okay? So it is also called pure research, fundamental or pure research, the basic research, okay? Fundamental or pure research, okay? It is systematic and
Dito sa phone ako nag-video. Ayan, no?
achieve a better and
Dito
more
sa phone.
detailed understanding of research, subject or phenomenon, and it is not intended to solve a specific problem. Okay? So sa basic research, talagang pure research lamang. You are just going to look for the findings, look for the problem, what are the things that are needed to be considered, and of course, tabulating the results, looking for the results based on the result that your respondents give. On the other hand, the applied research is a research that is used to answer a specific question. It has direct applications to the world, okay? This type of research solves a problem. So those problems that you encountered in basic research, you are going to solve that problem in the applied research, okay? You are going to propose solutions with such problems under applied research. So it is designed to focus on providing practical solutions to a specific problem, meaning every problem that you encountered in basic research, you are going to solve them or provide a solution to such when you are going to conduct an applied research. It is a form of investigation that entails solution-oriented inquiries into a phenomenon. The reason why nauuna si basic research, okay? Every problem that you encountered in basic research, it has a solution when you started working at applied research. So in many cases, applied research is a follow-up research designed for basic research, okay? Lagi pong nauuna si basic research bago po tayo mag-applied research. It further investigates the outcome of pure or basic research in order to validate these findings and apply them to create innovative solutions to specific problems. Again, that is the applied research. Under basic research, you are just going to research, know something, you are going to look for the findings, look for the results. Then, after looking for the problems in basic research, in applied research, you are going to apply a solution naman. Okay? You are going to look for a solution. But now, we are just focusing on basic research. And that is the end of chapter 4. Okay? Very short one because again, I am into research writing and not in a pure discussion. So that is the chapter 4 wherein we talk about the different quantitative research methods. And of course, the chapter 4, we know the value of your research. Now let's discuss this chapter 5, which is I think 4 slides only. This is very important. So in lesson 5, we have the needs to be specific and feasible. Kasi nga, again, in research, we have to be very specific. We are not practicing, or we're not going to deal with broad subjects or problems. So be very specific, especially in your titles. Students, it's very important that you know how to narrow down your research. Narrow down means deductive reasoning, just like what we did in the social problems. And of course, limit the scope of your study and inform your reader about the limits or the coverage of your study. So this is the introductory of your writing, the scope of your paper or scope of the study. The coverage of this study, okay? The coverage of this study would be the online education and its effect to the students' abilities, students' learning abilities, okay? The study consists of 150 senior high school students of Tropical Innovative School of Excellence. The study covers the students who are conducting their lessons through online platform. The study focuses on the students on the effects of the online education to the students' learning abilities. So that is how we are going to elaborate your scope. Okay, and of course the delimitation. So this delimitation, delimiting the study by geographic location. So again, this is being very specific. How are you going to include a geographic location? Example, 150 students from Amadeo Cavite, 150 students from Tropical Innovative School of Excellence, kasi TICE is also a geographic location. Okay? And of course, the age. This study is only for the students with the age of 15 to 21, example, okay? And of course, the sex, example, this study is for 150 males and 450 females, okay? Or 100 males and 100 females, okay? So that is an example. The population traits, the population size, and the other similar considerations. Other similar considerations will be the type of institution. Example, 100 people working on private institution and 100 people working on public institutions. So commonly, public institutions are government offices. Okay? And of course, alam na natin kung ano yung mga private institutions. So such are an example on how we're going to delimit your topic with the use of the geographic location, the age, sex, and such. So delimitation is used to make study better and more feasible, and not just for the interest of the researcher. It also identifies the constraints or weaknesses of your study, which are not within the control of the researcher. So let me share you something that the weakness or the weaknesses of your research will be also included in your paper. So what would be the weaknesses? Okay. Example, way back in college, our respondents would be the young professionals. Okay, young professionals with the age of 21 to 35. So that is our respondents. So, kasi nga, young professionals, we chose 15 teachers, 15 engineers, 15 doctors, 15 nurses, 15 accountants, and so on. But then, as part of the weaknesses, there are a lot of teachers in that place. So, na-attain namin yung 15 teachers. But then, wala kami nakuha, or nakukuha kami, pero hindi namin nakompleto yung specific number. Wala kami, hindi namin na-attain yung 15 doctors, 15 nurses, 15 accountants, and 15 engineers. And that is beyond our control, okay? That is not within our control, okay? Kasi as a researcher, ano magagawa ko kung wala doong engineer? Ano magagawa ko kung wala doong nurses? Ano magagawa ko kung wala doong accountants? Okay? But then, these weaknesses will also be included in our research. The weaknesses of this paper is all about the respondents. The researcher did not attain the the specific number of respondents that are required in this study. So that is the weakness of our paper. And as a researcher, you have to be very transparent on telling what would be the weaknesses of your paper. Okay? Kasi again, this is not within the control of you as a researcher. Okay? So these are the sample phrases that you can use in writing the delimitations of your study. The study does not cover the students that are not studying in Tropical Innovative School of Excellence. The researcher limited this research to 150 students, to 150 senior high school students of TIES. This study is limited to 400 students of junior high school students of TIES. Okay? So that is the delimitations. And that is the end of chapter 5. Lesson 5. And I will send this assessment to our Google Classroom. And that is the end of lesson 4 and